90 Day Fiancés Julia Trubkina and Brandon Gibbs expecting their first baby together. The couple tied the knot in April 2020. Julia Trubkina and Brandon Gibbs are expanding their family. The 90 Day Fiancé stars are expecting their first baby together. Sharing the news exclusively with People. The couple tells People that the news of their little one is both exciting and a little surreal. Julia Trubkina and Brandon Gibbs are going to be parents. The 90 Day Fiancé stars are expecting their first baby together. Sharing their pregnancy news exclusively with People. Trubkina, 31, and Gibbs, also 31, are thrilled to step into this new chapter of their lives, telling People it's both exciting and a little surreal. Big news we're expecting, the couple shares. It's both exciting and a little surreal, but we couldn't be more thrilled to step into this new chapter. Thank you all for the love and support. We can't wait to share the journey with you. The couple, who tied the knot in April 2020, appeared on Season 8 of the TLC series, as well as Season 6 of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, 90 Day Diaries, and Season 2 of 90 Day, The Last Resort. Through the series, fans have been able to follow the pair's relationship from when the soon-to-be first-time mom initially moved onto the Gibbs farm in Richmond, Virginia, from Russia. The transition to living with the family wasn't always comfortable. However, Trubkina and Gibbs' relationship stayed strong. In January 2022, Trubkina shared an Instagram reel of herself dancing to the cha-cha slide, alongside her husband and his parents. In the video, the family looked to be in good spirits. In her caption, she mentioned that her husband took a tumble as the video cut out. United States lost Brandon at the end of the video, grinning, squinting face. Trubkina wrote, "Have a wonderful day, guys, blue heart." Since then, the married couple have moved into a place of their own. Despite any stressors that they've faced since their relationship, Trubkina noted in a 2022 post on Instagram that when they're together, everything will be fine. United States, our year began with obstacles, she wrote in a caption. My fever is 105. The rent for the apartment ends soon. We need to make a decision about future actions. There were problems with documents, but we are together. Everything will be fine, cross fingers. I'm convinced this 90 Day Fiancé spinoff was quietly cancelled. For years, the 90 Day Fiancé franchise has managed to dominate reality television. What started as a simple TLC experiment documenting international couples racing against the K-1 visa clock has since grown into an entire universe of spin-offs, specials, and social media spin stories. From Before the 90 Days and the Other Way to Happily Ever After, The Single Life, and Pillow Talk, the brand has expanded into something closer to a lifestyle empire than a reality show. Yet, despite the continued popularity of 90 Day Fiancé, there's one particular spin-off that seems to have disappeared without a trace. It was quietly promoted, briefly discussed, and then suddenly vanished. No official cancellation announcement, no finale special, and no closure for viewers who had started to get invested. After months of silence and zero updates, I'm convinced this 90 Day Fiancé spinoff was quietly cancelled. The forgotten chapter in the 90 Day universe, TLC, has always been strategic about expanding the 90 Day Fiancé world. When one version starts to cool down, they pivot to a new angle. That's why we've seen so many different takes like Love in Paradise, The Caribbean, which introduced sun-soaked couples trying to make cross-border relationships work, and The Single Life, which followed former cast members diving back into dating after heartbreak. But one spin-off never got the same attention. That show was 90 Day Fiancé, The Family Chantel. When it premiered, it was hailed as one of the most promising offshoots in franchise history. Centering around Chantel Everett and Pedro Jimeno, one of the most polarizing couples in 90 Day Fiancé history, it promised a unique blend of relationship drama, cultural clashes, and deep family tension. The series was an instant hit for fans who couldn't get enough of the explosive interactions between Chantel's outspoken family and Pedro's complicated Dominican roots. However, after several seasons of constant fighting, cheating rumors, and emotional breakdowns, the show's once strong buzz started to fade. Viewers noticed fewer promotional posts, reduced visibility on Discovery Plus, and eventually complete radio silence. The long decline and sudden disappearance The Family Chantel didn't just end, it evaporated. After Season 4 wrapped, the show seemed poised for renewal. Chantel and Pedro's crumbling marriage had become one of TLC's biggest talking points, and their divorce proceedings provided plenty of material for another explosive season. Instead, there was nothing. No official renewal announcement came. No filming leaks, no fan sightings, no hints from production insiders. Months passed, and TLC shifted its focus to other projects like The Last Resort and New before the 90 Days seasons. Even longtime franchise commentators noticed the absence. On social media, fans began asking the same question. What happened to the family Chantel? Some suggested it might return after a long production break. Others speculated the divorce between Chantel and Pedro had turned too toxic for the network to handle. But as time went on, it became clear that TLC had quietly shelved the series without ever saying the words out loud. The clues were always there. Looking back, the signs of a quiet cancellation were there from the start. The first major clue came in how TLC handled the final episodes of Season 4. Normally, major 90-day Fiancé spin-offs end with a reunion or tell-all, an opportunity for the cast to unpack all the chaos in front of the cameras. But the family Chantel ended abruptly, leaving fans with a few unresolved scenes and a hastily edited finale that felt more like a mid-season cliffhanger than a conclusion. Then came the silence. Chantel and Pedro both stopped promoting the show on social media, which was unusual given how active they used to be during previous seasons. TLC's official Instagram accounts, which usually feature throwbacks and teasers, completely stopped mentioning the family Chantel. There was also no confirmation from the network during their annual lineup announcements. Finally, the biggest clue came when TLC began using the family Chantel's time slot to promote newer, shinier projects. 90 Day. The Last Resort premiered to heavy marketing fanfare, clearly positioned as the next big spin-off. And it seemed to absorb much of the audience that the family Chantel once commanded. Why TLC likely walked away. If this spin-off was truly cancelled, the reasons may be both personal and strategic. From a production standpoint, the family Chantel had reached its narrative peak. The entire show was built around Chantel and Pedro's tumultuous marriage, and once that relationship officially ended, there wasn't much left to explore. The family drama could only carry the series so far without its central couple. Pedro's storyline had shifted away from the dynamic that made him interesting. He was no longer the outsider struggling to fit in with Chantel's world. He was a single man pursuing his own goals. Chantel, meanwhile, was trying to rebuild her life and career after the divorce. Both had grown into independent individuals who didn't need the family feud format anymore. TLC also seems to be steering the franchise toward more crossover-friendly projects that feature multiple stars rather than solo families. The Last Resort brought together cast members from several different seasons, creating the kind of explosive, ratings-grabbing mix that one family shows can't replicate. By comparison, the family Chantel started to look like an outdated model. The business side of quiet cancellations TLC has a pattern when it comes to quietly retiring spin-offs. They don't make loud cancellation announcements because that kind of transparency can create negative headlines. Instead, they simply stop renewing or referencing certain series, allowing them to fade away naturally. This strategy keeps the brand flexible. If fan interest spikes later, TLC can always claim that the show was merely on hiatus. But if the buzz dies down completely, they've saved themselves from the public backlash that often follows official cancellations. This same approach was used with other short-lived projects in the 90-Day Fiancé ecosystem, such as What Now? And B90 Strikes Back, both of which disappeared from schedules without fanfare. In those cases, the network likely concluded that viewership didn't justify continued investment. With the family Chantel, the same logic seems to apply. Ratings had started to dip, online engagement was slowing down, and the stars themselves appeared to move on. TLC likely saw the writing on the wall and opted to retire the show quietly rather than make a spectacle of it. The cast has moved on. Another major reason I'm convinced the show was quietly cancelled is how both Chantel and Pedro have rebranded their public personas. Pedro is now focused entirely on his real estate career. He's active on social media, but his content is strictly professional, no behind-the-scenes peeks at filming, no cryptic teases about returning to TLC. He's building his brand as a realtor in Georgia, which suggests he's done with reality TV for now. Chantel, on the other hand, has embraced a more subtle form of influencer marketing. She posts glamorous photos, motivational captions, and promotional partnerships, But she rarely mentions 90 Day Fiancé anymore. That's a stark contrast to her earlier years, when she was constantly engaging with fans about episodes and upcoming scenes. When both central figures of a spin-off completely detach from the franchise, it's almost always a sign that the show is over. Fan reactions to the disappearance. Fans have not been quiet about the show's disappearance. On Reddit, Facebook groups, and Twitter, many viewers have expressed disappointment at how abruptly the family Chantel vanished. Some even argued that it deserved at least one more season to wrap up loose ends or explore how Chantel and Pedro's families were coping after the split. Others believe that TLC made the right call. The family tension that once made the show addictive had started to feel repetitive and emotionally draining. Viewers had watched the same arguments replay across multiple seasons, and many felt the story had nowhere else to go. Still, the lack of closure has left a sour taste for fans who invested years into following the Everett and Jimeno families. TLC's silence feels dismissive to the loyal audience who supported the show from the beginning. What its disappearance means for the franchise, the quiet cancellation of the family Chantel, represents a shift in TLC's larger strategy for the 90 Day Fiancé universe. The network appears to be phasing out niche family-centered spin-offs in favor of all-star formats and crossovers that maximize viewer engagement. This approach mirrors the broader reality TV trend. Audiences want variety, speed, and high-stakes drama. A single family focus limits the chaos, while ensemble casts allow for multiple storylines and unpredictable interactions. That's why newer spin-offs like The Last Resort and 90 Day UK are getting more attention. They deliver fresh dynamics without over-relying on one couple's history. The final word, whether or not TLC ever confirms it, all evidence suggests that the family Chantel or whichever 90 Day Fiancé spin-off you had your hopes set on has quietly joined the list of retired reality projects. There was no scandalous announcement, no heartfelt goodbye, just a slow fade into the background of a franchise that constantly evolves to stay relevant. For devoted fans, it's frustrating not to have closure. But from a business perspective, it makes sense. The 90 Day Fiancé machine never stops moving. Old stories end so new ones can begin. And as one spin-off disappears, another inevitably takes its place, ready to feed the endless appetite for love, heartbreak, and international chaos that defines the 90 Day Fiancé world. Still, for those of us who watched every episode, every confrontation, and every tear-filled confession, the quiet end of the family Chantel feels personal. It deserved a proper farewell, a reunion, a reflection, something. But instead, it slipped away silently, becoming one more mystery in a franchise full of them. So yes, I'm convinced this 90 Day Fiancé spin-off was quietly cancelled. And in true TLC fashion, we probably won't get an explanation anytime soon. 90 Day Fiancé. Happily Ever After? Season 9. Every couple's status right now. Season 9 of 90 Day Fiancé. Happily Ever After? Is deep into its run with 8 franchise couples navigating married life in the US, overlapping storylines, and plenty of friction. New moments aired on October 12, 2025 and continued to circulate on October 13, 2025, giving fresh clarity on who's still together, who's split, and who is stepping into an entirely new chapter. The series airs Sundays at August 7th on TLC. This roundup compiles every on-screen development and status update referenced this week, including Julia Trubkina and Brandon Gibbs' pregnancy news, a tense car ride confrontation between Darcy Silva and Georgie Rusev with Stacey Silva and Florian Sukic present, 2 confirmed splits, and 1 social media scare that turned out to be a false alarm. Key same-week developments. Brandon and Julia's Europe plan shocks the family. After Brandon's parents arrived with gifts, Brandon revealed they were planning to travel to Europe and had already made major life changes. He admitted, "I know this sounds risky." His parents pushed back, saying he should plan, do the right thing, think logically, and added, "This scares me." They also told Julia, "Maybe you do need to go back to Russia." Darcy and Georgie's good years fight boils over. In a car ride with Stacey Silva and Florian Sukic, Georgie complained about private issues being shared with family. "It's like turning your family against me because how is this going to help you?" Stacey pushed for more effort from Georgie. "I just feel like he needs more than just a half-assed version of a husband," while Darcy asserted her independence. "I'm 50 and fabulous." Every season 9 couple and status Julia Trubkina and Brandon Gibbs married, And expecting the couple confirmed on August 26 that Julia is pregnant with their first child. Big news, we're expecting. They called it both exciting and a little surreal, and thanked fans for the support. On screen this week, Brandon told his parents he had quit his job, and that they planned to sell Julia's apartment while preparing to go to Europe, decisions that sparked immediate pushback. Darcy Silva and Georgi Rusev married, but strained the pair traveled to Bulgaria for a family homecoming, and renewed their vows in what felt like a second wedding. Back in the US, money friction resurfaced after Darcy asked for Georgi's share of the rent in a group text with her father. "Hi Georgie, can you please send your share of the rent money if possible? I would greatly appreciate it. I've been waiting patiently for a while. Thank you for understanding and everything. Love you." In the October 12th episode, Georgie said sharing private issues with family was not really helping our relationship, and told Stacey and Darcy, "Actually, I'm wasting my good years." Cara Bass and Guillermo Royer split. As of episode 11, the spouses decided to separate and co-parent. Cara said, "I wanted it to be different. I think you're not my person," adding, "There's zero truth to his accusations after Guillermo alleged cheating." She also worried Guillermo might be projecting. Both ultimately said the relationship no longer felt safe. Loren Brovarnik and Alexei Brovarnik married. The longtime fan favorites teased a bumpy road with other couples this season, but their relationship remains solid. Looking ahead, they explained, "We're trying to plan our 3-year plan and figure out what we want to do and where we want to be," kind of thing. Yara Zaya and Jovi Dufresne married. After mending issues on 90 Day, The Last Resort, the couple appears steady. Season 9 shows them with their daughter, Mila, and their new dog, Mila, as Yara launches a business. During a Lake Placid trip with Loren, Alexei, Elizabeth, and Andre, Yara bristled when Jovi brought up ugly old photos during a game of Never Have I Ever. Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo split. Following an open relationship turn on The Last Resort, Jasmine began seeing Matt while Gino connected with Natalie. In Season 9, Gino asked for a divorce. Soon after, Jasmine learned she was pregnant. She and Matt welcomed daughter Matilda. Gino accused Jasmine of marital fraud, demanded she repay him over $70,000, and threatened to have her deported. Elizabeth Castrovet and Andre Castrovet married. They debated moving from America to Moldova, and Andre made a major investment that lost $75,000 without Elizabeth's knowledge. Much of their stress this season has been with other couples, from Jovi and Alexei telling others Andre lost a lot of money to Elizabeth, saying Loren felt body-shamed by her husband. Tigerlily Abdel Fattah and Adnan Abdel Fattah married. The returning pair documented the birth of their son, Zayn. Rumors of a split surged after Tigerlily posted a torn wedding photo on September 27 with the caption, "2 years ago today, I stood here in this dress believing it was forever. Some forevers end sooner than we dreamed." They later clarified the post reflected marital stress. They remained together. Where and when to watch 90 Day Fiancé? Happily Ever After. Season 9 airs Sundays at August 7th. See on TLC. Conflict check and methodology. On October 13, 2025, a webpage updated at 4:15 p.m. claimed that Darcy and Georgie ended their relationship this season, and that 2 couples split. However, the October 12, 2025 episode depicts Darcy Silva and Georgi Rusev as a married couple, including a Bulgaria vow renewal storyline, while the same week recap of the car ride argument features Georgie saying, "Actually, I'm wasting my good years," and Stacey Silva calling him half-committed in spirit. Therefore, this status roundup prioritizes what aired on October 12th to 13th, and the detailed couple-by-couple updates listed above. Bottom line. Season 9 continues to evolve in real time. As of October 13th, 2025, Julia and Brandon are expecting, Cara and Guillermo and Jasmine and Gino are split, and the rest Loren and Alexei, Yara and Jovi, Elizabeth and Andre, Tigerlily and Adnan, Darcy and Georgie remain together, though not without complications.